And we're back with some more Switch 2 news, and this time is Nintendo taking a zero tolerance stance against scalpers in Japan. Now remember, back in the day they did tell us that Nintendo will put extra measures in place and things in place to deal with scalping, and I think they've done a fairly decent job around the world, maybe not in America, but I think that's a lot of that was outside their control. But we're focusing on Japan today because Nintendo is not messing about. They are pulling out all the stops here. So the extra steps that they've taken to prevent Switch 2 scalping, because you remember how popular the Switch 2 is in Japan. Like the pre-orders for just the My Nintendo store in Japan reached, I think it was over 2 million people requested access to the lottery thing that they had there in Japan, and Nintendo had to put out a statement and apologize, saying that, look, we just simply don't have enough Switch 2s to meet this demand. So that's just the Nintendo store, that's not counting all the other retailers. But in this instance, on Nintendo's official site, they put out a press release detailing the steps that they're taking. So they've basically come to an agreement, like a pledge with three what they call flea market site operators, who are Mercari, Yahoo, and Rakuten Group. And basically they've come together to cooperate to prevent fraudulent listings of Switch 2 products, basically. So the console and other accessories and things like that. Mostly the console here, but yeah, as you can see, those are the three flea market operators, as they call them: Mercari, Yahoo, and Rakuten. And on top of this, remember, Nintendo's also taken the step of releasing two separate models in Japan. You've got the higher priced region 3 model, so that will work in Japan and all the other countries in the world, as well as a Japanese exclusive, Japanese language only Switch 2, which is cheaper. And they've also implemented that lottery system that I mentioned earlier. And if we read the rest of the statement here, Nintendo and the three service providers will take measures against fraudulent listings of Nintendo Switch 2 and other products related to the Nintendo Switch 2 that violate the terms of use of service providers, including the establishment of a collaborative system that includes information sharing, in addition to actively responding to the removal of listings by service providers. So these guys are not messing about. They're going to be sharing information. If they see anything, massively marked up Switch 2s, people buying them in bulk and then trying to sell them on there, they're going to remove the listings, they're going to ban accounts, all sorts of stuff. And I think that's great, because it allows people who are actually going to play these consoles to have a chance of buying them, as opposed to people just making a quick buck. Scalpers look, listen, we live in a capitalist society, people are going to do it, but when it's super popular and things like this, it's nice to see manufacturers making the effort to actually reduce this significantly. This is, I think, some of the most stringent stuff we've seen with regards to scalpers, and also getting the, eBays and the Yahoos and the Mercaris and the Rakutens of the world to come together and work together. Because, look at places like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Those places are rampant for scalpers. But, in this instance, Nintendo in Japan is I guess hooked up with the three biggest ones, said, no, we're going to put everything in our power to make this as difficult as possible for people. So I totally applaud this. And if we look further into the details of it, I think Yahoo Japan has got the strictest measures in place, in the sense that they are banning all Switch 2 listings on their auction sites, and anyone who tries to do so is going to potentially face their account being suspended or maybe even terminated. They've set no end date for this measure, but so I assume it will probably end maybe a little after the official launch on June the 5th. Rakuten is taking a similar stance from what I imagine, but they've given an actual end date that these measures will only take place until the 5th of June, the actual release date. And I think Mercari's done something similar, but it's not as, it's not as stringent and forceful as Yahoo and Rakuten. And basically they've said that they will share relevant information with Nintendo and strengthen measures to remove specific products that violate the Mercari guidelines. So, I mean, compare that to the nonsense that happened in North America, the absolute chaos that was, with the Orange Crazy One and his revolving door tariffs, and also just the retailers in America just were being totally unprepared. Some of them went on, some of the pre-orders went live late. The websites couldn't handle the traffic. So yeah, Nintendo and Japan definitely doing it the correct way. So yeah, let me know what you think about Nintendo's measures to stop scalpers in Japan. I think these are some fantastically stringent measures. Nintendo is not messing about with the Switch 2. They did tell us, nobody can say that Nintendo did not warn you that they are going to take extra steps to make sure that scalping is not a huge problem for their console. And they've done a good job with that. So yeah, hats off to Nintendo on that one. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, and I will see you lovely people on the next one. Cheers.